You know that honeycomb diagram for social media, the one everyone seems to use? Well, what if I told you it's not actually new at all? That behind this modern looking chart are psychological theories that are decades, even centuries old, and they're secretly powering our entire digital world. Today, we're going to uncover those hidden connections.
So, yeah, you've probably seen social media broken down like this: a simple 7-part honeycomb. It's got identity, presence, relationships, reputation, you know the drill. And it's a super handy way to analyze giants like Instagram or TikTok. But honestly, the honeycomb itself isn't the most interesting part. It's what's holding it all together underneath.
And that gets us to the big question we're digging into today. Is this honeycomb just a slick, modern business tool, or is it actually tapping into something way deeper, something fundamental about human psychology that's always been there? Let's find out. It's time to connect some dots.
Okay, let's start with the most personal piece of the puzzle: how we actually build our identities online. We're going to look at 3 key parts of the honeycomb that are, well, all about you. So this is where it gets really cool. When you map these honeycomb blocks onto classic theories from psychology, you find these incredible one-to-one connections. Identities links right up with social identity theory. Presence is basically social awareness theory in action. And reputation, well, that's just a new name for social proof. Let's break each one of these down.
First, let's tackle identities. Social identity theory is a pretty simple but powerful idea. A huge part of who we are comes from the groups we're in. And that makes total sense, right? The professional you on LinkedIn is shaped by that network, and it's completely different from the fan you in a Reddit group for a TV show. Social media just makes all those different group identities visible. Then you have presence. Now, this isn't just about being logged on, it's about being socially aware in a digital space. It's how you know your friend is on vacation from their posts, or you can sense the angry vibe in a comment section before you jump in. It's basically emotional intelligence, but for the internet. It's the ability to read the digital room. And that brings us to reputation. Think about it. Why do we trust a product with thousands of 5-star reviews? It's social proof. It's this powerful mental shortcut where our brains just assume that if a ton of people are doing something, it must be the right thing to do. All those likes, follower counts, and retweets, they're just the 21st century metrics for this very, very old human principle. All right, so we've covered the self. Now let's move to the next part of the honeycomb and see how everything builds from there. Now we're going to look at how we connect with other people, the real architecture of our digital social lives. And you guessed it, the pattern continues. When we look at how we form connections, the theories line right up again. The relationships block aligns perfectly with something called social penetration theory. Groups run on the principle of liking, and sharing is like a textbook case of social learning theory. It's wild how well it all fits. Let's look at relationships. Social penetration theory is sometimes called the onion theory, which is a great way to think about it. It says that relationships get deeper as we slowly peel back layers and reveal more personal stuff over time. And that is exactly what happens online, isn't it? We start with public posts, then maybe move to direct messages, building trust through that slow, gradual reveal. And what about groups? This one is almost beautifully simple. The principle of liking just says that we connect with people we like and who are like us. That's it. So online groups for, say, gardeners or vintage car fans are just giant magnets for this principle. They pull people together around shared passions and create these incredibly tight-knit digital communities. Finally, let's talk about sharing. Ever wondered why a certain meme or a dance challenge just explodes out of nowhere? Social learning theory gives us the answer. We are literally wired to watch what other people do, imitate it, and model their behavior, especially when we see that behavior being rewarded with social currency, like likes and comments. We see what works for others, and we copy. Okay, so we've connected all the dots between the honeycomb and these old school theories. But so what? Why does any of this matter? Well, understanding the blueprint behind the screen changes how you see absolutely everything. So here's the bottom line. The honeycomb model isn't just a business diagram. It's a modern interface for ancient, timeless human behaviors. And social media platforms, they are not random. Their features are meticulously engineered around these psychological principles to keep us engaged, to keep us scrolling. But look, understanding this doesn't mean you have to log off forever. It just means you get to be a smarter, more aware digital citizen. And once you know this, you see the real-world impact everywhere. When a public relations campaign tries to build rapport with an audience, they're using reciprocity and liking. But it also explains the darker side of things, like why misinformation can spread so incredibly fast. When we see our friends and family sharing something, social proof and social learning kick in, and we're just far more likely to believe it and pass it on ourselves.
So, this all leaves us with one last powerful thought. If today's digital world is just a new stage for old human psychology, what happens next? As we move into the future with AI companions in the metaverse, what timeless human truth will be at the core of that new world? What's the fundamental principle that will define our next digital reality? Something to think about.